Hi everybody. For the last few weeks I've been mucking around with paper casting using tissue paper and rubber stamps and making some interesting imprints. And then I have mucked around with colouring them, and now I'm thinking I want to make something with them. So I've chosen one. I've got a white piece of linen here. I'm going to use this one here that we looked at last week. And now I am getting some map, an old piece of map, because I'm wanting this thing to look like a doorway, to somewhere. So a map's a good start. And look at this wonderful stuff. It is just some packaging that arrived with something in the mail. So I thought, oh yeah, I can use you. I'm bringing in the brown that's in that little frame that we have, that little window. And look at that blue cardboard that I've put behind now echoes the blue that's also in that little window frame. So I was happy with that, and that's a really good starting point. Now I'm going to get some PVA glue and some water. You can use all kinds of different Mod Podge and different things, but this is a cheap and easy one that most people would have. So white craft glue or PVA glue and water, and I'm just gluing down that linen and saturating it a bit through there as well with the glue water mix, and just so that I can put things on top. So here's my little bit of torn map. There we go, it's in place, and with a bit of adjustment. And I really like those torn edges. I like what they can do. So with getting this glued down, and now with this piece here, so fascinating, this stuff. Well, it's just paper really, some sort of brown paper, like a honeycomb. Anyway, so I'm using a little bit thicker mix of the glue water now, not so much water, just because that's a bit of a heavier thing and I want it to stick down. So look, we've got white on white now. Let's tint it up a little bit, and we'll put in a little bit of blue. A little bit of blue up there, just to tint some of that material and the edge of that nice torn edge of that map. A bit more water on there because I just want to touch a colour. So now I'm also going to get a different colour. This one's a rust colour, a brown earth colour. And I'm just going to use it down the bottom. So I'm not really taking much care with painting prowess there. I'm just dabbing it on, because you can always do this. You can lift it off a tissue or scrunched up bit of toilet paper, whatever you've got. And that made it more random, and so it looks a lot better. So I'm going to try with some coloured tissue paper now, add in a bit more blue, just some strips however they go. And extending out, can you see how it extends out beyond the white linen and onto that blue paper? Same on this side. And now I've grabbed some light colour, like a beige kind of tissue paper. And I just thought a little bit of that over top would help that stick down and blend it in. So there we are. Now we've got a bit of a background. I'm going to put those paints away. How does my window here look now? Where would I want it? What else can I do? So I'm just trying that out, figuring out where I might want to place it. And then I'll use a stronger mix of the glue, not so much water, and just stick it down. So we're telling a story with this. We've got sky, we've got the earth, got that foreground, we'll do something, and this window. One more thing, I think I'll add some of this. It's just a green yarn. It's a bit bobbly, so could be bushes and things like that, or just bits of foliage. So I like the idea that it's sort of going in one side and out the other, and I'll do a little bit of that, a little bit of mucking around here, getting it where I want it, glue it down, and then it'll be time to just put it aside. And oh no, one more thing, we're going to do this. Okay, so I decide, wouldn't it be nice, a little hill there separating that sky from the earth. Just going to poke it in underneath there. Nothing's dry yet, so it's all movable. And now, because I like it, I'll just take a little bit more and extend it outside the edge again. Outside the edge of that window. I'm also feeling free to rearrange things as I go here because it's still wet, so I can move things slightly. So back more with some of this. It's a leather look kind of paper, this stuff. It's great. Lots of texture. And for some reason I decide I like it better with something else on that side. I like the shape, the torn shape. But it is suggestive of a cliff or a hill or something there. It's just a separation from that sky. There we go. Now it will need to be smoothed down, and it will need to have time to dry. I'll put it under a weight and just let it, there we go, let it finish sorting itself out. Making it all flat. So I'll come back when it's dry and we'll do what we can to finish this little project. So this is the next stage, and I'm going to do a little bit of stitching. Just simple running stitch. I'm using a pearl cotton that's a bit thicker, and it's a rusty kind of pinky colour. It's quite good for echoing that colour that I've already put in as that nice rusty brown cliff. And just with a few meandering lines going out the sides here, it's just sort of continuing to tell this story we're having here. They just look like contours on the ground or on that map that we have in the background. So I've got some brown lines, those rusty red browns. I'm also going to use a nice variegated greeny yellow colour in the foreground here, where we've got this lovely sort of hill happening. And I'm going to use this to do the same at this stage, and I'm going to do some running lines, and as I do these stitches I'm just catching in bits of that yarn that we put down. Just couching it down at the same time. Well, I'm going to do the same, these little lines that meander in one side and out the other of the picture. Just like that. So I've also added some blue in up the top here. Just the same, just some little lines there. Just continuing. So we've got 3 colours in there now. But at this stage I'm sort of thinking, oh, I might like to brighten this up a little bit. So I'm just got out some either children's crayons or oil pastels, something like that, and I'm using it to colour up a little bit lighter the outside of this frame. And what that's also doing is it's producing a bit of a greeny colour, which I'm thinking I'm going to use. But whilst we're on the crayon stage, I'm going to add in a few more things. I'm going to add in a little bit of light blue up the top here to make it match in a little bit more with the sky. There. And I'd also like some white, you know, in that cloud, or in that, helping that white linen fit in with the background. So I'm just extending it out here with the white. Just a little bit, maybe a little bit on that big patch of blue that's inside the window. Just extending it a little bit. So you can feel free to keep changing things, keep adding things, keep trying different techniques and mediums. And, you know, tell your own little story with the bits and pieces that you have to hand. Oh, I think I'll go back to that greeny yellow and add a little bit here into this linen here that's very white, just to help it blend a bit and to tell the story we're trying to tell, that this is green grass, a green hill here in this foreground. So I'll just add a little bit of green to it to help our imagination see that a little bit better. Right, that might be enough of that, I think. And just another touch on that little corner. And maybe a little bit more stitching. So I finished with my crayons. What I've decided to do here is use that same variegated green and yellow pearl cotton, and I'm just going to do some fly stitches down the edge of this. It's going to help hold that little window on, but also it's going to look, I hope, like trailing ferns or mosses or some sort of greenery that's trailing down the side of that, as if it's like an old stone arch that's been left from a building, and it's starting to return to the earth, and the plants are growing up around it. So I'll just continue doing a little bit here on the sides, and then I'll go over and do a little bit on the other side, and maybe as well do a little bit around where it is down the bottom to sort of make it look like it's coming out of that greenery and disguise that flat edge a little bit. So I'm really thinking this is quite alright, this little experiment, and it might be another page from my little journal that I've been doing. Yeah, that fly stitch is working great. So I'm just finishing up a little bit more on this other side, adding it in. You could go to town and do a lot of things on this, and it's very hard to try and know when to stop, but I'm happy enough with what we've done that I can see what I was meaning. There. And maybe just a few, straight single stitches that go up and down would also tell, like grasses, tell more of the story. Plenty of things you could do if you wanted. Let's have a closer look how with just those few stitches really did help that. And now I'm just going to have a look inside the diary that we have. We've done some different styles. I'll pop that page in there. I'm quite happy with that. I really do like that blue background. That worked a treat. So I hope you've liked watching how this one came together. And if you have, don't forget to press like and subscribe to my channel.